The first thing I should mention is if you want to skip the tutorial altogether, you can download this vocal preset by clicking the first link in the description. It comes with everything that's going to come into this tutorial, but for those who want to keep watching, let's get started. So the first thing we're going to start off with is some auto-tune. In order to make it a stock plugin, I used the pitcher vocal effect, which obviously isn't as good as paid auto-tune, but I think it works pretty well. In order to have all of the vocal frequencies be affected by the auto-tune, I put the minimum at around 110 hertz. You can put it even lower, but I think it sounds best. After that, the only thing I really did was, besides changing the key of the song, was move the speed dial all the way to the fastest setting in order to make the auto-tune be as noticeable as possible. Next, I used the Fruity limiter, mostly for the noise gate. So basically, if you have any background noise, whenever you're not talking, the noise gate will essentially remove whatever is underneath the threshold, which in my case is anything under -34 decibels. This is the easiest way to remove white noise and background noise in any of your audios. Obviously, you have to crank the gain all the way down in order for the effect to work, and you can toggle with the release time if it sounds too choppy. Then I added a Fruity parametric EQ. The main things I did was, first of all, remove all the sub bass by going to the first band, right clicking, going type high pass and order steep 6, and then dragging it around the 77 hertz area. Then all I really did, I kind of moved it around over here. I reduced a bit over here in the mids. You do this by going to peaking and then dropping this little thing over here to 3%, -6.2 decibels. And then I raised the treble a little bit, the high mid, cranking it up 2 extra decibels. Once we're done, it's time to add a compressor. So I used Fruity compressor. And all I really did, first, threshold at -24.1 decibels, the ratio at 6.9 to 1, the makeup gain at 2.2 decibels, the attack at 6.6 milliseconds, the release at 13 milliseconds, and type hard. Once you're done with that, it's time to add very little reverb. I put the mix level at 9%. Didn't really change anything. It's essentially the default settings in the reverb, adding a delay over here, following tempo, and dropping the mix level to only 9%. Then I added a delay. Main thing I did, I put the time at a 7:0 ratio. I used the ping pong effect. I hard panned to the left, so it's going to go back and forth on the left and right channel. The only other important thing to mention is I added very little delay. If I only added 9% reverb, then the delay is only at 5%. Once we're done, another stock plugin, Sound Goodizer. This is for saturation. I cranked it at about 20%-ish in the mode A, and this to give your voice a crispier tone. This is the only non-stock plugin in the list, but it is completely free. It's called TDR Nova, and this is a de-esser. So all I really did over here was go to the presets, and I went to de-esser split. In the same way as Maximus, where you'd go to de-esser split band, it basically ducks any S sounds, as you can see over here, as it's visually represented. Then I added very little chorus. This is basically the default settings, and I only cranked it to about 11% on the mix level. And finally, I added one more EQ, again to remove the sub bass, because after being run through some of these effects over here, like the reverb and the delay, there will be some extra frequencies in the sub bass that we want to remove. And I also wanted to crank up the treble a little bit just to make the top end as present as possible. And once you're done, your vocals will sound like this.
Yeah, this how you sound after you put all the effects. You can buy this at 𝐅𝐅.com. First link in the description.
If this has been helpful, consider subscribing for more tutorials like this. Again, you can download this vocal preset, first link in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.